Hey, Dwayne, Matthew here with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and I'm going to cut some really nice transition lenses with Crizal anti-glare for your brand new Versace. Let me take everything out of the original packaging that it comes to me in. Of course, this is your Versace cleaning cloth here in the bottom of the case, and of course your card of authenticity that comes with all of them. And let's open up your Versace case, and we have got the Versace 1121 in black and platinum, a nice small men's rectangular frame. Model number 1121, color 1009, and this is the 53 eye size. Of course, these have the Versace logo on both sides, and of course, since men wear so much black and platinum, from their watch to the belt buckle to their shoes, this is a color which is a must have for most men, I should say. And then let's go ahead and get started cutting. I'm going to take out your original demo lenses. One of them says Versace on it. I'm going to pop them out, and of course you're going to get all the original packaging that I received. And I'm going to put your Italian frame into my, oops, hang on, not yet, I missed it. Let me put it in there correctly. Now let's try it. I've put your Italian frame into my $30,000 Santinelli. This is the LE1000 patternless edger. And the stylus is going to pop up and trace the shape of your right lens. And then it's going to move over and trace the shape of your left. Here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed with quality. You buy a genuine, authentic Versace frame, and you will receive free, clear, single vision prescription lenses or non-prescription fashion lenses. If you have vision insurance or flex dollars associated with a health savings account and you don't wear glasses but you want something really nice to rock, hey, come see me and I'll give you the proper receipts where you get reimbursed in full. So I'm going to pull the shape of your lens up onto the computer. Okay, Dwayne, your pupillary distance is 66.5. Let me enter that into the computer. 66.5. These are polycarbonate lenses that I'm going to cut on the soft cycle because of your Crizal anti-glare, and this is being cut for a metal frame. In fact, what is the eye wire on there? That is a Phillips head. Do I have a Phillips head here? This will do it, hopefully, if the blade is small enough. Oh yeah, this will work. This will work. So let's go ahead and get your lenses ready. Your right lens reads -1 1/4 -50. We got 1 1/4 -50. I'm going to take it out. These are the Transitions brand lenses with Crizal anti-glare coating. Of course, SPF 25 you've got on there. And these are Crizal Alizé. Hopefully you can see that in the print there. So I'm going to take your lens out of the protective sleeve. I'm going to spin the axis wheel of my Marco 101 lensometer to 40. I'm going to put the power drum. Let me make sure everything is zeroed out perfectly. Okay, I'm going to put the power drum on -1 1/4, which is the spherical power for your right eye. I'm going to put the lens in, rotate it until the sphere power comes in clearly. Now would be a good time for you to observe all the dust that's on the top of this old lensometer, but that's okay, I'm just too busy to clean. I'm going to check your astigmatism correction. I've located the optical center of your lens, and I now want to put 3 dots on your lenses, which are pretty light for you to see, so I'm going to darken them so everyone at home can follow. Come on, where's a good pen? Where's a good pen? There we go, and this is the right lens, so I'll put an R there. Set your lens down. Let me do the same thing for your left lens. -1 1/4 -1/4 at 10. 110, excuse me, 110. So I'm going to spin the wheel to 110. Take the lens out of the protective sleeve. You're still on -1 1/4. Put your lens in and rotate it until the sphere power comes in clearly. Check your astigmatism correction, and I will explain all of that in just a moment. Put 3 dots on your lenses, and hopefully you guys can see all that. Come on, where's my good pen? I think the moisture from there is messing up. Let me try this pen. You always got to have a good backup pen. I'm going to put an L for left there, or an L for not right, one of the two. So this is a block. This is what's going to attach to your lens while it is cutting to hold in the lathe. I need to apply a double-sided adhesive sticker on there. And 3M, the same people who make Post-it notes, make a double-sided adhesive sticker. The black side is the sticky side. I'm going to stick that onto the block, pull the tape away to make my side sticky. And then essentially what I'm looking into, essentially it's just like a cross here. I have a vertical meridian and a horizontal one. And I'm going to get everything lined up. Those 3 dots are going to go on the horizontal line, and then the vertical line is going to go right through the optical center, so you are centered into the crosshairs. I'm going to do the same thing with your left lens. I've got one with the sticker already on that. Let me pull that away. Get everything lined up perfectly, and we are good to go. Now, your anti-glare coating, I'll explain all the features of that, but one of the features of that, and it's a good feature, it's a hydrophobic lens, meaning that it hates water. So it makes it a little bit more slippery while it's cutting, so I'm going to put one more sticker on the back surface of the lens so that it cannot slip around while it is cutting. The good thing about that is, being hydrophobic, is you never need a liquid cleaner again. Just like when you wax your car and it rains, the water beads right off. The same thing happens on all these Crizal lenses. So you only need the Versace cleaning cloth that comes with the case, and of course I'm going to provide one of my own premium microfiber cleaning cloths, and that's what you will only have to use. You'll never again have to use, so let's hit start. You'll never have to use any type of liquid cleaner. Now the calipers are going to come down and they're going to trace the shape of the right side of your frame. This is the right side of the frame. To make sure your lens is large enough to fit in there, it's starting with the rear surface, the back surface closest to the eyelashes, the concave surface of the lens, and it's going to move over and trace the convex front surface of the lens. All the while measuring the thickness of the lens at every point on the lens to know exactly where to place the bevel so the lens is fit inside the frame perfectly. Now the actual cutting wheel is down here on the bottom left. This is lighter color wheel that's going to act like a heavy grit sandpaper to grind away your polycarbonate material. And this wheel in the center of that little valley, that channel, that's what's going to put the bevel onto the lens so it fits inside the bevel of the frame. I will have to close the door in a moment due to the sound, but I just wanted you to see as your prescription lens touches down onto the cutting wheel. Now your lenses are polycarbonate. Polycarbonate is 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic. It is virtually unbreakable. Your lenses are also bulletproof up to 22 caliber and have both UVA and UVB protection built into the lens. We know what the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays can do to your skin from overexposure, where your eyes are 8 times more sensitive than your skin. So you have permanent sunscreen for your eyes. Now the transition lenses, well, I'll show you darkening those in just a moment. The anti-glare coating, it is 3 features in one. It's originally designed to eliminate glare at night, especially when driving at night in the rain, but from street lights, stoplights, computer screens, overhead fluorescent lights, all the above. I have a lens I'm taking out of the packet now that does not have the anti-glare coating. Well, it's also an anti-reflective coating. That's the second feature. So we talked about the anti-glare. It's also an anti-reflection. So when someone's looking at you, they're not looking at their reflection in your glasses. So that makes for much better eye contact. Plus, if someone takes a picture with a flash, you don't see the flash lit up in the lens. You see just your eyes. So it makes for a much better cosmetic appearance. And then the third feature that I like, which is the practical side, with the Crizal anti-glare coating, they put the best scratch protection possible on top of that Crizal coating. It is a $1 million machine that takes 24 hours to apply this coating to the lens. So they put the best scratch protection in the business on top of that to protect their investment. Now if you notice, your lens is completely flat, just like a nickel. I could take it out now and it would stand up on the counter on its own. And in just a moment it's going to move over to this middle wheel to have the bevel put on there, which is a knife-like edge. If you notice, there is water running in the background, but polycarbonate cuts dry where plastic and high-index cut wet. Now at the very end, the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle, there are 2 water jets that will kick in, one in the front here and one in the rear, and essentially it's just to wash away this optical debris that is on the lens. As you see me pick this off as it goes round and round, that's what the water is going to try and wash away. Of course, I like picking it off as it goes around. Scraping it off with whatever tool I find necessary, or whatever tool I have in my hand. So the water jets have kicked in, which tells me this is in the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle. So as soon as this is done, I will take it out and we'll make sure that it fits inside the frame perfectly. Okay, so let's go ahead and take it out. We're almost done. We're not going to quite insert it in the frame yet. I just want to dry the lens off. Now you still have a little bit of rough edges that are left over from the cutting cycle, so I want to use my handstone to smooth those out. And my handstone is completely flat. I can put my finger on it while it's running, and my finger gets warm due to the friction. But it's that friction that allows me to apply what's known as the safety bevel. Excuse me for my Peter Brady moment. I was trying to say safety bevel. There we go, a little bit more bass in my voice. And so essentially I've melted those rough edges that you had previously had, and I'm going to use my thumbnail to scrape all of that off, and that is called Schwarf. And I do this so much I've worn a V-shaped bevel into my thumbnail. Now once all of that is off your lens and onto the counter, I very carefully and very responsibly and very neatly collect it into one pile, and then I wipe it on the floor. And this is where I say, kids, stay in school. I went to school for years to learn how to make a mess like that. So kids, if you want to grow up and make a mess, you gotta stay in school. So I just want to loosen the eye-wire screw, lefty-loosey, and I'm going to go ahead and pop your lens into the frame. And I want to tighten the screw back down. I just want to do a quick inspection, and yes, that is mounted inside the frame perfectly. The screw head is not popping out. So let's go ahead and start cutting your left lens. I'm going to flip the machine over to L, which means not left, and hit the start button. Just like before, these calipers are going to come down, but this time it's going to trace the shape of the left side of the frame to make sure it's large enough to fit into the frame, and of course it is. Always starting with the rear surface closest to your eyelashes, which is the concave surface, and then it's going to move over and trace the convex front surface of the lens. And that concludes your vocabulary lesson of the day. And if you notice, since it measures the thickness all the way around, it has placed the lens into the frame perfectly where you have no edge thickness left over. So that's perfect cosmetic finished value. And as soon as your left lens begins cutting on the cutting wheel, I'm going to go ahead and continue to work on your right lens. This machine only runs $30,000. I recommend everyone go out and get one. It weighs 200 pounds. Put it on your kitchen counter, and then you can cut lenses at home. You won't need me anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and take this block off. It is no longer needed. I'm going to discard the rubber sticker. I'm going to pull the blue sticker off the back and put that on the counter for now. Dry everything off again. And I want to put the lens back in the lensometer. I'm going to spin the axis wheel back to 40. Put it in, and I'm going to read -1 1/4 sphere. And I'm ending up with -175, which is 1 tick mark away from 2. Your prescription reads, your right eye is -1 1/4, -50 at 40. Your left eye reads -1 1/4, -1/4 at 110. Now the unit of measurement we use in the optical world is called a diopter, spelled D-I-O-P-T-E-R. It's similar to ounces, gallons, and pounds. It's just a unit of measurement. It starts at 0, also known as plano, also known as non-prescription, but it goes up in quarter increments from there, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1, 1 1/4. So you need 5 steps of correction for farsightedness. You can see up close. You are nearsighted, so you see up close perfectly. You need 5 steps of correction to help you with your farsighted vision. So you're on the 5th rung of a ladder, if you will. Without your glasses on, everything is much larger in life than it really appears. So that's why it's a minus lens. It will actually minify down to the correct size. Now this cylinder, the SIL abbreviated, this is your astigmatism. And there is a stigma over the word astigmatism. It just means shape. Everyone freaks out when they hear that word. It is not a disease. It is not an affliction. It's just like saying someone has straight hair, someone has curly hair. No one freaks out when you hear them say that. So this first number gets everything the correct size. Astigmatism is what makes fuzzy edges. That's why 6s and 8s look alike. The letters P and F, it causes you to squint to try and make things out. So you need 2 steps of correction there for a total power. If someone owed you $1.25 and then they borrowed another 50 cents, they would owe you $1.75. So we ended up with -175 as your total power. Now the 40 for your right eye and the 110 for your left. A straight line is is a 180 line, starting at 0, going to 90 at the vertical meridian, back to 180. Of course, if you spun it around, the bottom of the circle would be 270. So we're going to correct for the astigmatism by doing a fine-tune knob. So we're going to turn that fine-tune knob to about 40. For your left eye, we're going to turn it past the 90 meridian to about 110. That's why I put the 3 dots on your lenses, because your lens can only go in the frame one way. If it ever gets off center, you will just not see as well as when it's turned to 40 for your right eye and 110 for your left eye. So that's what those numbers mean. Really what it means is you need to wear glasses. What's wrong with you? So the water jets have kicked in, which means we're in the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle, and we're actually done. So let's go ahead and take this left lens out. We're going to apply the safety bevel. Hey, I said it without my voice squeaking this time. Oh, there's a little piece left over, but I'm going to make more, don't you worry. So real fast back to the safety bevel. Real fast to scraping that off with my thumbnail. And then real fast, kids, you know what's coming. Collect it all on the counter and then wipe it on the floor. Kids, stay in school. How many times I got to tell you that? So I'm going to use my screwdriver to do the old lefty-loosey technique. I'm going to put that in there. Make sure it's inside. It is. Tighten that eye wire screw back down. Take this block off since it's no longer needed. Discard the sticker. Of course, I don't need to do that on your time. Pull this blue sticker off. Just force a habit. And dry your lens off again. And I'm going to spin the axis wheel back to 110. And hopefully you can see that through the little magnifier there. Put your lens in. I'm going to put it in right at that red dot. And I'm reading -1 1/4 power. And then you only have 1 step of astigmatism correction for your left eye, which gives me a total power of 150, which is exactly halfway between 1 and 2. So that is made perfectly. Your pupillary distance is 66.5. So I'm going to put the 0 on my PD stick against my thumb on your right lens, and then we hold it up to the left lens. We're getting 66.5, so that is made perfectly too. Now I want to clean the dots off your lenses, and this is the time where I point out to everyone that if you get these in the mail and they're too loose or they're too tight, or one side is higher than other, that's because 80% of people have one ear that's higher than the other, and I'm no different from that. So just stop by your local optical shop. 99% of all shops will do free adjustments if you ask them. But I'm going to get them in standard alignment, also known as a 3-point stance. The 3 points are 1, 2, and the bottom of the frame being 3. I set them on the counter and there is no wobble. I flip them over, there is no wobble. When I say wobble, I have one ear that's higher than the other, just like 80% of people. So when I take mine off and press down, there is a wobble, but they sit level on me, just not on the counter. I'm also going to make sure that each temple overlaps perfectly, and they do, and the same amount of tension on each spring hinge, and there is. So this is what your lenses look like clear. I'm going to go ahead and give them a very strong burst of ultraviolet light that's going to cause your lenses to turn dark. I'm just going to put them in my little transitions box that's here in the corner. See if I can get them to sit upright. Come on, you. Cooperate. I'm going to turn it on. Now it takes about 30 seconds, 30 to 45 seconds for transition lenses to darken, about 45 seconds to a minute 15 to lighten back up when you return back indoors. Now Dwayne, this is important, listen up. All transition lenses will turn dark on day 1, as you see here. Give them 2 weeks. They're going to continue to darken every day for the first 2 weeks until they get to their final setting. After that, they will work for years with maximum performance. The only time they will not work is if you're inside of a traditional car. Your windshield absorbs all the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays that would cause your upholstery to rot or your dashboard to crack. That's why they don't get dark in a car. They will get, unless you have a convertible or a motorcycle, then they will darken. Now they're also temperature sensitive, meaning that once it's 90 degrees Fahrenheit and above, they just don't get as dark as they do when it's 90 and below. I remind everyone, when it's 95 degrees, you're miserable, your glasses are miserable. Nobody wants to work 100% in that kind of heat. So that's that. That's the first time they've been activated. If anyone has any questions, just email me at free prescription lenses at gmail.com. Dwayne, I hope you enjoyed watching as I made your prescription Versace 1121 color 1009 in the 53 eye size with transitions gray and an Crizal anti-glare coating. And everyone else has got the chance to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.